Anytime you get a runner in it from third with less than 2 outs, you've done a good job. That's good hitting there by Bichette.
Now Mike Kingery. Now Kingery's going to have to get a hit or some kind of a Mets mistake to get the run home. But look at that, 349. And the only reason he really got a chance to play much is because Ellis Burks got hurt. Talk about a game taking advantage of an opportunity.
Well, he's a pretty good outfielder too, John. He runs well. He's a pretty good player. He's the kind of player you'd like to have as your fourth outfielder.
Ball one.
John, I think we should also mention, you talked about the cold and the fact that the snow was on the ground this morning. Well, they have 47 miles of underground heating cable underneath the stadium, and it keeps the field temperature at 58 degrees.
Maybe we ought to see if we get down there.
Yeah, that was a better spot. Hey, the best spot here is standing on the field, 58 degrees on the turf.
String some mic cable out there, and we'll just stand right by the dugout. 2-0. In there for a strike. 2-1. 2-0 for the Rockies in the first inning of the first game at Coors Field. By the way, I see some empty spots out there in the rock pile, Joe, in center field. Center field, but right to Butler. And that's the inning. The Rockies get 2 person out there.
That's the cheap seats, too, and you'd think they would fill up before these big, expensive seats would.
Yeah. That's where you and I would have been years ago.
We'd be hanging out there in Candlestick Park.
We'd have our shirts off today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have my shirt off, John.
I would have written ES on my chest.
No,
you would have written PM on yours.
No, John.
And we would have been standing by a camera all day. Yeah. Misspent youth. Here is Bobby Bonilla, switch hitting slugger for the Mets, taking ball one. Well, Bonilla is the everyday third baseman now. Last year, and you had to give him credit for it because of injuries and various different things, they asked Bonilla to move in from the outfield to play some third base. It's difficult to do right in the middle of the season. Galarraga. Whoa, what hands. The Swift, beautifully done.
John, you described that perfectly. The big cat is supposed to have the best hands of any first baseman in the league, but that's one thing about this field. It's a very tough infield in that the ball is fast and it jumps at you. Now watch this second hop now. This ball, when it hits the ground, it really takes off. And a tough play there. You see it didn't bounce up. It kind of skidded. Good play there by the big cat. That is a very difficult play to make because you think the ball's going to bounce up and it kind of skids on you.
Billy Swift with his new ball club got a little help, a little lift from his defense right there. Here is Jeff Kent. He takes a called strike, and it's 0-1.
Now we might mention that Billy Swift is getting ground ball after ground ball. He's had one pop-up in the first inning. Other than that, all the other balls that have been hit have been on the ground.
Kent did not look too happy with that call by the amateur umpire. I thought he was going to leave the field there for a second, Joe. He had this sardonic smile on his face and headed almost all the way back to the dugout.
And it was only the first strike.
1 strike delivery. Down and in with a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Talking about Bonilla. The only thing he asked Dallas Green, he said, next year, if you want me to play third or the outfield or whatever, I just ask that you let me know before spring training so I can work on it, be ready when the season starts. Base hit for Kent. And he says, I'll be happy to play wherever you want me to play. Well, he wanted him to play third base, did Dallas. But then when Ryan Thompson got hurt, there was some talk in the front office. Maybe they ought to move Bonilla back to right field for the interim. And it was Dallas Green who got upset, reportedly, saying, no way, Bonilla's my third baseman. That's case closed as far as I'm concerned.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, John, his team leadership and things like that have never been questioned until he started off slowly in New York. When he was with the Pirates, he would move from third base to the outfield. He'd move to wherever the team needed him to play. He's always been a good team player. That was obviously questioned in New York, but a lot of things get questioned in New York. I still think of Bobby Bonilla as a leader and a good team player.
Here's David Segui, son of Diego Segui, longtime Major League pitcher for numerous different clubs. David, there seem to be a lot of them around Major League Baseball now, the progeny of former Major Leaguers who turn into fine Major Leaguers themselves. Segui, for a long time, a first baseman and a very good one. And he, too, has moved to a different position. He's out in left field. And he played some winter ball this year to try and perfect the skill, because he figured they probably, with Bronya taking over at first base, that they probably wanted him to play out there. He's not a real fast guy. Doesn't have a whole lot of range in the outfield, but otherwise he catches everything he gets to, and he's not a bad outfielder. Fundamentally very sound. Fouled on the left field side. 1-2 to David Segui. Segui hit 10 home runs last year for the Mets, which equaled the best in his career.
Well, with Billy Swift, of course, will be trying to get another ground ball here, John, and that's what he does best.
Middle infield set for the double play grounder. 1 out. Kent, the runner at first. The Rockies lead 2-0 already. We're in the second. Strike 3 over the outside.
This is what Billy Swift does to a hitter. Watch the ball tail away from the hitter. Look at that. It just starts to run away toward the outside corner. And Segui thinks it ran off the outside corner, but it's strike 3. And Billy Swift has his first strikeout.
Billy Swift, one of the very few players in baseball from the state of Maine. And you see, he always got a lot of ground balls. Well, with the Giants, that's his forte. And there's ball 1. South Portland, Maine. He went to the University of Maine, played for John Winkin there, the outstanding baseball coach up there. And Billy also is the 14th of 15 children. To say the least, he came from a big family, a big family. And the 15 Swift children, as Carl Everett takes a strike, 1-1. The 15 Swift children all seem to be athletically inclined. And according to Billy, his sisters often were just as good at sports as any of the brothers. So he had a lot of chance to play ball, as they had well over a full team just as brothers and sisters. Back to the bag at first, Jeff Kent. Swift's father, Herb, was a former Navy gunner and also a semi-pro pitcher. So he learned a lot about pitching just from his dad as he was a youngster growing up. His dad, Herb, once rode 33 hours to watch Billy pitch in the College World Series in Omaha. Got in the car, drove for 33 hours, bought a ticket, and sat and watched him. Close-knit family. And that's a foul ball for Everett. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of sadness for Billy Swift. Coming from such a close-knit family, his father, Herb, died of a heart attack in 1993. And then his mother died in this past January, just 3 months ago, from complications related to diabetes. And Billy misses them both very deeply, as you might expect. He says his dad taught him everything about making the ball move and throwing the sinker. And that's a ball. When he pitched at Candlestick Park, he'd have one of those cellular phones, and he'd leave Candlestick, and he'd call Maine, talk to his parents. He says, whenever he talked to his mom after a game, she'd say, well, Billy, just keep the ball low and throw strikes.
Pretty good suggestion.
And back to the bag at first again is Kent. Rockies lead 2-0 for Swift. Now, Swift playing with the Giants last year. The Giants were one of the worst scoring teams in baseball. I mean, there was not much support offensively. The Rockies figured to get him a lot of runs with which to work. 2-2 the count. Right to the big cat. That's the inning. Everett is retired. 2-0 Colorado after 1.5. Houses the out-of-town hand-operated scoreboard, so fans can watch all of the other games being played in baseball as they watch this one as well. It's Fenway Park style of scoreboard, and there's the guys inside of it. It's truly hand-operated. Oh, somebody just got to, and you saw it first right here on Wednesday Night Baseball. There's a foul back and out of play.
John, another thing about that scoreboard, it's made of 4 different materials: metal, cushion, cement, and netting. There's the netting you can see, the cement.
See, Atlanta beat San Francisco 12-5 today. There's Montreal ahead of Pittsburgh 1-0. Yankees over Texas. Kansas City over Baltimore. Vinny Castilla, the hitter, against Bobby Jones, and that's a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So that should be an advantage. Larry Walker will learn how to play the various caroms off that wall. And guys coming in from out of town might have some trouble, Joe, I guess.
I think it's going to be a problem for Larry, too, because you're not going to be able to judge all the time whether it's going to hit on the cement or whether it's going to hit the netting. I mean, it's a very small area out there, and the ball's traveling. You're not going to be able to know exactly. You're going to have to really be defensive is what's going to happen. You're going to have to wait till the ball hits and then react to where it goes.
See 350 into the corner. There's an angle down there, and you see how the stands jut out right near the foul line there. So that also creates some perils for a right fielder. Strike 3.
Good slider there from Bobby Jones. Jones has good stuff. As we mentioned, he won 12 ball games last year. Now watch this slider. See the spin on it, and it's diving away from Castilla. Very good pitch, especially with 2 strikes.
Now Roberto Mejia comes up. 1 out, nobody on. And he takes ball 1. Mejia hitting 8th in the order. Rockies lead 2-0 in the last of the 2nd. Billy Swift is out on deck. Fortunately, there's not a whole lot of wind blowing. Finally ball to short. Vizcaíno. Out number 2. 2 men gone. But ball generally won't need a whole lot of help whether the wind is blowing or not with the short dimensions. And you see how this ballpark compares with the old ballpark, Mile High Stadium. Mile High Stadium in left field, very short considering that the ball carried so well. Only 366 to left center. Now here, 390, so it'll be a little more fair. Center field is deep both places. Now right field at Mile High was very big, 400 to right center. And here, right field will be the home run porch. Billy Swift thrown out by Bobby Bonilla after a first pitch ground ball. That's the inning. 3 up and 3 down. Todd Hundley coming up. 2-0 Colorado.
Into in the first inning. Watch how the ball rotates down and away. See the spin on it? You cannot hit that ball in the air. You're always going to hit the top of it. That's why he gets so many ground balls. The ball is rotating down and away from the left-handed hitter and down and in to the right-handed hitter. But again, I think Billy Swift's success is not so much because of his sinker, but because he knows how to pitch. He will throw a couple of pitches inside, throw a slider away, and he will change speeds on you. He just uses his entire repertoire on every hitter. He doesn't just go out there and get you out with a sinker.
Here is Todd Hundley. Hundley hit 16 home runs last year and only 291 at bats for the Mets. So they're hopeful in a full season now. Maybe Todd is matured enough that he might hit 20+ home runs. He's never hit well for an average. He's always been a pretty good defensive catcher. Base hit. Hit number 3 for the Mets, and that will bring up the pitcher, Bobby Jones. Joe, I know one question you always had when Swift first went to the Giants from Seattle. He'd always been a relief pitcher.
Right.
And the question was how his durability would prove to be. And, of course, in each year that he was with the Giants, there were times when he had to miss starts because of injury.
Well, he's had some problems staying healthy for an entire season. But let's not forget he won over 20 games 2 years ago. And he's always had a very low ERA. I mean, he may miss a few starts, but he still wins ball games for you.
Bobby Jones, 5 for 46 last year. He's had a long look at Mike Cubbage, the third base coach. Brett Butler, the leadoff man, is on deck. Well, that'll work. Castilla over to the second baseman covering. That's Mejia. And Hundley moves over to second base.
Billy Swift is also one of the best fielding pitchers in the major leagues. A lot of sinker ball pitchers are good fielders because they end up in good fielding position when they release the ball. Now you watch Swift. Watch the position that he ends up in. See, that's good position there. A lot of pitchers you see falling off to the left or to the right of the mound are not in good fielding position, but most sinker ball pitchers stay right down the line. So they're pretty good fielders, or at least they're in good fielding position.
So the one away, the Mets have a runner at second base for the first time of the game, and here's leadoff man Brett Butler. Butler hit the first pitch here at Coors Field for an infield single to shortstop. Butler, always noted as an outstanding bunter. Just kind of an average year for Brett. He'll beat out 20, 25 bunts, and that always brings that third baseman in shallow.
Well, Butler is very difficult to defend because you come in as a third baseman, he will slap the ball by you, as he did in the first inning, and the shortstop cannot throw him out from deep in the hole.
I remember last year with the Dodgers, he started hitting a few home runs all of a sudden. And he said it was because of a new approach that Reggie Smith talked him into, which was being more aggressive early in the count, which we saw tonight in his first at-bat. Brett said, oh, there were many, many times where he'd have to have 2 strikes before he'd even think about swinging. And Reggie Smith showed him that he was hitting about 140 points higher when he was ahead in the count than when he had 2 strikes, which of course only makes sense in baseball, but Brett Butler thought he was an exception.
A lot of hitters like to see a lot of pitches.
A strike, 3-1.
And in a lot of cases, the more pitches you see, the better you can time them, because you get a chance to see how much the fastball is going to move, how quick the slider is going to break. You get a chance to see all those things if you can go deep in the count. But if you go deep in the count and you're behind with 2 strikes on you, then you're just protecting the plate.
Even with 3-1, the third baseman Castilla plays very shallow. Breaking for third, and he'll make it. That's Huntley. Butler thrown out by Weiss.
Smart play by Weiss.
Out number 2. Coming up now, the third part of our triple header on opening night. Vizcaino trying to hit well in the clutch. Runner at third base with 2 down. Vizcaino grounded into a double play his first time. Runner at third, Swift from the windup. 1-1. You know, I was surprised that the infield was so fast, Joe. I asked Bobby Bonilla about it. He said very fast, but very true.
Yes.
Good bounces.
It hops. It has true bounces, but it will take off on you. It's a very quick infield.
Now, the other new ballparks that have been built recently, Camden Yards, Jacobs Field in Cleveland, the new Comiskey Park in Chicago, they all had very, very slow infields when they first opened. And it had something to do with the kind of athletic turf they're using out there, that with the great drainage and all of that kind of stuff, because it was sand-based. And when it was brand new, just very, very lush and very slow, but not here.
I believe the heating system underneath would have something to do with that too, John, because what it will do is dry the ground, and it makes it a little firmer than maybe they would like.
3-2 the count. Galarraga. Wrong man to hit it to. More ground balls induced for the pitching of Billy Swift. Top of the order coming with the Rockies. Walker coming up third, 2-0 Rockies.
Like it was only yesterday we're there.
Yeah, we have to be the luckiest men in America.
Almost.
We do opening night at Joe Robbie. Get to see the Dodgers and the Marlins. Now we're in the first ball game at Coors Field the very next night. This is like the baseball fans' dream. Weiss, who singled in the first, starting a 2-run rally, is retired easily here on a comebacker by Bobby Jones. 2-0, the Rockies ahead. The batter will be Joe Girardi.
John, I think the luckiest guys are the people who get to play in those parks. The players are the luckiest.
Well, see, but they're still there, aren't they?
Yeah, these new parks.
See, they're still in their park down there in Miami, and we're here tonight. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be at the Metrodome. I'm going to see that park. Although it's the same old Metrodome.
Same old Metrodome.
But it's opening night there tomorrow night. And you know what else? I'm thinking of going to Seattle this weekend. and seeing the Kingdom, seeing Ken Griffey Jr. and Cecil Fielder play home run derby.
You know what? I think I'll meet you there.
All right, Sunday night, 8?
All right, Sunday, I'll meet you there.
8 Eastern?
7:56.
Even better, yeah. Let's get started a little earlier this year. Good idea.
Right.
Can he get him? Vizcaíno's throw. Swing! Nice play by Vizcaíno, though. Girardi, again, he's not like most catchers. He runs well.
Well, we talked about his speed earlier and his ability to use the bat. He hit one to right field on a hit and run. This ball is grounded in the hole. Excellent play by Vizcaíno, but he takes a little too long to get up, but very difficult play to make. Now he comes up and throws to first. Actually, a very good play, good throw. But you can see Girardi's safe at first base.
Now here is Larry Walker. In his first at bat in his new ballpark with his new club, he blooped a double along the left field line, driving in the first run in this ballpark. So in one swing of the bat, he got the first extra base hit in the history of Coors Field, the first RBI in the history of Coors Field, and did it all in his first at bat as a Rocky. Wow. All of that glory on a little bloop over the third baseman's head that he didn't even hit well.
Well, they say in this game, you'd rather be lucky sometimes than good. But it really works if you're good and lucky.
Yeah. Well, Larry Walker has been both of those, I'd say. 0-2 the count. So we know he's good. I mean, Walker's the whole package. I mean, he hits with power. He's an outstanding outfielder, strong arm, steals bases, hits 300. What did Tommy Lasorda call Raul Mondesi last night? A 5-point player.
Well, you're going to explain that, or you want me to?
Yeah, no, you're the analyst. You explain it.
We take a look at the defense. They play Larry pretty much straight away. Well, a 5-point player is a player who can run, hit, throw, field, and hit with power, and hit for average.
Left center field. That one's going to be in there, and they'll run all day. Girardi scores, and Walker will hold with a double. It is 3-0 for the Rockies. He hit it into the alleyway to the deepest part of the ballpark.
This is a sinker down and away. See the ball tailing away from Walker. Good piece of hitting. He doesn't try to pull it. You watch him. He's going the other way. Just throws the bat at the ball, hits it in the gap in the left center field. And being as strong as he is, it rolls all the way to the wall. Larry Walker is a good hitter. You try to pitch him inside, he'll take you in the seats to right field.
Now here's the big cat, Andres Galarraga. Galarraga hit a comebacker his first time with runners at second and third. Now he's got a runner at second with a 1 away. Another RBI opportunity for Galarraga. And he has not let many of these go by in his first 2 years here in Denver. I mean, he's been phenomenal since coming to Denver. Many thought his career was finished. Nobody wanted him.
When he first came up, they compared him to Tony Perez because he hit a lot of balls to right center field like the former Reds player. But then he fell into slumps because he was trying to pull the ball too much.
He's the only player with a first-year expansion team ever to have won a batting championship. He hit .370 in the first year of the Rockies. And then last year hit .319 with 31 home runs in only 103 games. Ball 2. He's a good man to pitch around, except Dante Bichette is on deck. Now, Tony Gwynn, the last 2 years, had the highest batting average. But Andres Galarraga comes up next. Into left center. Butler on the run. Got it. Walker had gone halfway, and he'll have to return to second base. Throw gets away from Vizcaíno, but no chance for Walker to advance. I think Galarraga was shocked that Butler caught that ball. Andres was 2/3 of the way to second, and then he was going to pull up and head back to first.
Well, what happens is he knows that they play him over the right center field, but Butler was basically playing him straight away. Most teams play Galarraga to the right side. And so he was surprised to see Butler over there. But Brett Butler's a smart player, and a lot of times you go with the pitch. You can see the sign, or you know what the pitch is. If it's an off-speed pitch, you kind of lean toward left center field, as Butler probably did there. Or if it's a fastball, you lean the other way. All infielders try to do that, and that's how they get a good jump on the ball.
And Brett Butler, I mean, he knows all the little tricks to give himself that little advantage. Here is Dante Bichette. He hit a sacrifice fly his first time. And that's a strike. 0-1. Bichette did not like the call. Big, strong right-handed hitter. And he, too, has had back-to-back strong seasons here. Big numbers. Hit .310 here in the first year of the Rockies with 21 homers. Then hit .304 last year with 27 homers in just 116 games. Because that's all they played. Down the right field line, foul, and back out of play. 0-2 the count. Now this, of course, is going to be a hitter's park simply because of the altitude. The ball's just going to carry well here. We know the infield is fast, as Joe's pointed out. But look how little foul territory there is. Looks a lot like a Fenway Park.
And that helps you a lot over the course of a season. It saves you 15 or 20 foul ball outs. So you get another chance to hit.
Foul pop that could be caught, say at Dodger Stadium or Candlestick Park, with all of that ample foul territory. Goes into the stands and giving the guy another life, and maybe he hits a later pitch out of the park in that at bat.
All of your California parks have big foul territory areas.
As a look down that right field line into that corner. And that'll create some problems for right fielders as time goes on this year. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bichette, facing Bobby Jones of the Mets. The Rockies lead the Mets 3-0 in the last of the 3rd inning.
One thing that Bobby Jones believes in, I've noticed this in these first couple of innings, is whenever he gets ahead, he always wastes a pitch.
Walker had to leap over the top of that one, and Vizcaíno throws out Bichette. That's the inning. Another run turning into the Larry Walker, Billy Swift show here. The new guys, quite a tour de force for ESPN today, as all of the clubs open up today in baseball, with the exception of the Dodgers and Marlins, who opened up last night. And yes, John and Joe were there, and we are also here at Coors Field. And we appreciate the sentiment and all of the work that went into that banner.
Nice banner.
Excellent, I thought. One of the best I've seen.
They may have been architects of this stadium.
And if they weren't, they should be hired to build the next one, I'll tell you that. Here is Rico Brogna. Powerful left-handed hitter facing Billy Swift. It's a strike. He'll be followed by Bobby Bonilla and Jeff Kent. The power is up for the Mets here. Brogna hit .351 with 7 homers in a brief call-up with the Mets last year. Got 131 at-bats and did well enough that they said, hey, I like this guy. Let's keep him in there.
Now, in their usual defense, they're playing to pull on the right side and to slap the ball on the left side. Walt Weiss not playing him to pull at shortstop.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Rico Brogna. Been around a while, Brogna. He's 25 years of age, from New England, Turner Falls, Massachusetts. The funny part of it is, he was not doing all that well at Norfolk in AAA ball, and then he got the call up to the Mets, and he went nuts with the bat. Reached for it, fouled it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Mets don't have a whole lot of power. They're kind of counting on Brogna being for regal. And also Ryan Thompson when he gets back. Thompson strikes out too much, and his batting average is very low, but he hit 18 home runs a year ago.
Well, it's not down a lot, but it's just a little above the knees. Not where Billy wanted to throw it.
Now Bonilla, high soaring fly ball, left center. plenty of room out there. And Bichette takes it.
The ball to Bronya was in the middle of the plate, not exactly where Billy Swift wanted to get it.
The Mets are on the board, but Bonilla is a quick out. Look at the huge crowd here at Coors Field. But that center field area, Joe, I don't understand it. The rock pile out there, it's not full.
And for $1 a seat, I think that'd be the best bargain in town.
Here's Kent. Right back to Swift. Just what you were talking about earlier, Joe. He was in perfect position to field that ground ball.
Very good fielding pitcher. And a lot of young pitchers would do good to take notice of that, because you can really help yourself over the course of the season. If you can field your position well, bunt, put the ball in play, of course, unless you're in the American League when you do not get to hit. But be able to bunt a little bit, put the ball in play, and field your position.
Well, it's a good point. I mean, there's a lot of pitchers, that same ball
would have gone
right through to center field, because they come tumbling off the mound toward the first base line, things like that. David Segui slaps it right along the line. Foul. Rico Bronya still looks like he's kind of pumped up after that first home run.
Yeah, a home run will pump you up a little bit, John.
He was
excited.
He was in the Tigers farm system, and you know, he was up and down a couple times. The Tigers never got a long look, and now here he is on a club for opening day that says, we want you to be the guy. That's exciting in itself. And now he hits the home run on opening day. Hit hard past the diving Walt Weiss. Base hit. David Segui gets the Mets' 5th hit against Swift. Keeps the inning going for Carl Everett.
Good piece of hitting there by Segui, and that he just laid the bat on the ball. Didn't try to do anything special with it. Just kind of laid the bat on the ball. It's another sinker. Now watch. Nothing special. Just kind of throws the head of the bat at the ball.
David Segui, he's not much of a threat to try and steal. David does not have a lot of speed. The batter is Carl Everett, and he takes a called strike, 0-1. Now, remember last night when we were in Florida, if you had tuned in with us, we saw the rookie Kilvio Veras, the young second baseman of the Marlins. In his first major league at bat, he hit a double. Well, Veras had come from the Mets, and the trade was to the Mets for Kilvio Veras. So here's the other side of that trade. Carl Everett getting the start on opening day. He had an outstanding spring. He earned this start after Thompson got hurt. It was funny because Everett was the last man to report to spring training camp. He immediately was not a popular man with Dallas Green, the last guy to get there. And then apparently a couple of days later, he was out in the outfield. He and David Segui got into a little fracas, and that further caused his relationship with his manager to deteriorate. But then he went out and he just started hitting line drives all over the ballparks there in Florida, and he won this job. 1-2 to Everett. Everett is a switch hitter. Down on strikes, and that's the end of the inning. Get to you. And one of the features of this new ballpark, down there beyond the lower deck grandstand in the right field corner, is the first micro brewery ever to be housed inside of a ballpark or a sports arena. And they make their own beer, as you might expect, in a brewery. And there's some of the brands right there, such as the Right Field Red, the Power Alley Extra Special Bitter, Slugger's Sandlot Stout, and of course Pinstripe Pale Ale.
I like the Right Field Red, John.
Hey, you liked red all the way no matter what. You were the Cincinnati Reds, and you always sat dead red. Let's face it.
Dead red. I like dead red. You're right.
1 ball, 1 strike to Mike Kingery. 3-1, the Rockies ahead. Bobby Jones on the hill out of Fresno State University. Bobby's kind of a quiet. He's a lot like Billy Swift, really. He's a quiet, unassuming fellow, but very businesslike, and he knows his business out there. He's not a real hard thrower. Foul tip by Kingery. In his junior year at Fresno State, Bobby Jones was 16-2 with a 1.88 ERA and led Fresno into the College World Series.
Good pitch.
Strike three.
That's a hard slider that starts off the plate on the plate inside, just breaks off the plate inside. With 2 strikes, very difficult for a left-handed hitter to lay off of that pitch. And we'll see the slider from Bobby Jones. You can see the release, the rotation, and it just dives inside. And Kingery can't hold his bat back. He tried to.
Kingery, tough guy to strike out ordinarily. Now Benny Castilla will come up. Third baseman. Struck out his first time. Bobby Jones really breaking into the big leagues in a big way last year, going 12-7. And remember, that's in only 24 starts. I mean, at that pace, he might have won 17 or 18 had he been able to finish the season. Or he might have just won 12. We don't no telling what he would have won, but I mean, he was on pace to do that.
I think he would have won more than 12. He was throwing the ball well.
Well, we're back in the mini brewery out there, the Sandlot Micro Brewery. They have a patio area, sort of like a beer garden, I guess. I guess you'd have to have a place like that, Joe, if you're in Coors Field. Strike three, Castilla down on strikes. Now let's get an update from Carl Ravitch.
John, thank you. MCI
for them. They're still the reigning world champions in baseball.
Still have a chance to win 3 in a row.
As they had a poor year last year, but of course, ultimately, so did everybody in baseball. Here is Roberto Mejia. Grounded to short his first time. Curveball too high from Bobby Jones. 1 ball and 1 strike.
See Bobby Jones mixing his pitches better this inning than any of the previous innings. He's used his curveball a little bit more, changing speeds with the curveball, the slider, and the fastball. He's shown them all 3 different speeds here in this inning. Earlier in the ball game, he was going basically with a fastball and a slider.
Vizcaino. And down go the Rockies, 1, 2, 3. We're heading to the 5th inning now, and the Mets trail the Rockies 3-1. Jerry McMorris went out on the field to conduct some of the opening day ceremonies, and he said that there are so many people who helped make this dream become a reality. And so he acknowledged many of those people, including Bill White.
Right.
I guess helped a great deal in getting it done. You know, Denver was a place where they often talked about putting a team. There were different times where it looked like they were about to get a team, but it just never happened.
Well, he mentioned 30 years in the making. That's what he said. This the dream come true. 30 years after they started trying to get a team here in the Denver area.
Todd Hundley, the hitter. Hundley singled his first time. He's the 8th place hitter. Bobby Jones on deck. Facing Billy Swift. Base hit. Good try there by Mejia. But yeah, again, you saw how quick that infield was. I mean, that ball is just shooting through that infield as if it's artificial turf.
Good point. That ball really shot through there because I thought it was just a routine ground ball to the right side.
So now Bobby Jones will come up.
Take a look at this ground ball. Now watch. Just 2 hops and it's through there.
Jones with the bunt. Swift will go to first. That's Mejia covering. 2nd straight sacrifice bunt successfully executed by Jones.
Good job by Jones. And Billy Swift jumped off the mound very quickly, but he made the smart play. If it would have been a 2-1 ball game, I think he would have tried to hit Huntley at second base. Now watch how quickly he comes off the mound. There's a sinker in. Now you look in the background. He really has a shot at Huntley. He takes a look, but he decides since he's ahead in the ball game 3-1, you do not want to take a chance. Just take the routine out. 2-1 game, I'm sure he would have gone to second base.
Brett Butler, the hitter. Brett has singled on the infield, and he's grounded out to short. 1 ball and no strikes to Butler. 1 out, a man at second. The Mets down by 2. Nice pickup at third by Castilla. And Galarraga, a nifty bit of footwork over at first to accept the wide throw.
Third baseman that plays against Brett Butler will always have to make nice plays because they're in so shallow. Anything that he hits their way, they're going to have to react to it. You do not have time to chase it. Just a reaction play.
So Butler retired. He's hit the ball in almost the same spot every time he's been up there tonight. The left side of the infield. Here is Vizcaíno. He is grounded into a double play and grounded out to Galarraga.
The only thing I have not seen from Billy Swift tonight is a few changeups. He hasn't taken a lot off of his fastball. Basically gone with the sinker and the slider.
Is that because of the cold weather, you think? That's a bloop. There's Bichette. And that's the inning. 3-1 Colorado. Swift will be coming up when we get back. We're halfway through it. Helping this whole thing happen was former National League President Bill White, who is sitting down behind the Rockies dugout tonight.
Now, Bill has shaved since the last time I saw him. He had a beard over the winter.
He was looking like an elder statesman with that beard.
He was. Yeah.
In fact, I saw him on that Hank Aaron documentary. Looked very distinguished with that. Here's Billy Swift facing Bobby Jones. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Swift grounded to third his first time. Leadoff man Walt Weiss is on deck.
As you mentioned, Billy Swift's a good player. He's a good hitter, good fielder. He can do a lot of things on the field. He's not just a thrower or a pitcher.
We're in the middle innings now, and every game has been played invariably in these openers because pitchers are not ready to go 9 yet. They didn't have enough spring training to get fully ready to start the season. These are the innings when pitchers have started to show signs of getting tired. We saw it with John Burkett last night in Florida. It happened to Jimmy Key today at Yankee Stadium around the 6th inning or so. That's ball 4 to Billy Swift. Not a good sign for Bobby Jones to walk the pitcher.
Well,
leading it off.
Especially after Bobby had his best inning in the 4th inning, he struck out the first 2 hitters and got a ground ball. So he looked very strong in the 4th inning. But that's the one thing you have to guard against. I think that's the one thing that's going to happen this year with the shortened spring training. Pitchers will run out of gas quickly. There won't be any indication that they're slowly tiring. It'll just hit them all at once.
Plus, it gets to the part of the order now where everybody's been getting hits. Walt Weiss 1 for 2, Joe Girardi 2 for 2, Larry Walker 2 for 2. Top 3 hitters have been doing the damage for the Rockies. There's Dallas Green. His bullpen is quiet for the time being. That was the first walk, by the way, allowed by either pitcher in this game. So Weiss is the hitter. Well, what do you think now? You got the pitcher at first and a handy man with the bat at the plate. What's Baylor likely to do here, Joe?
I would think that he'd try to get another run for Billy Swift. That shows how much I know.
You mean with a bunt or a hit and run?
With a bunt.
Yeah.
I don't think he would hit and run with the pitcher. Hit and run with the pitcher sometimes forces the pitcher to make too many decisions as a base runner, and he's not as accomplished.
But this is Billy Swift.
Should be. Well, that's true, but you don't want to put him in too many funny positions where he has to slide or decide whether to stop at second or keep going.
Well, he shows bunt, but pulls back. The pitcher's too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. So what's that? He gave him 1 pitch to see if he liked to hit it, or it was just fooling around with the Mets brains there.
Well, I think he was decided after the first pitch that he wanted to bunt. A lot of times you do not go ahead and show what you want to do on the first pitch. I mean, a lot of times it could have been a ball and they wouldn't have had any indication that he was going to bunt.
That'll get it done. No play there for Jones. Over to Brony at first. And the sacrifice has worked with Swift taking second. Say coming up on Sunday night, we'll be at the Kingdome. Our first, you'll be all right, but 7:56
is the right time.
Yeah.
John, I think Don Baylor will be able to play a different type of game when he has Billy Swift on the mound. be able to bunt, get the extra run, play for a lead, whereas last year, you know, they were just trying to score as many runs as they could to try to win a ball game. I think you'll see a different managing style from Don Baylor this year with Billy Swift, and also maybe when Freeman is on the mound.
Yeah, they didn't get 3 runs and win very often.
No, so you'll see a little different managing job from Baylor, I believe, this year.
Joe Girardi, the hitter, 1 strike to count. I mean, the Rockies, I mean, partly because they were playing at the Great Hitters Park, Mile High Stadium, but partly because they just didn't have very good pitching. Gave up an incredible number of runs the last 2 years. Ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike to Girardi, the catcher, Hundley. It's now down the left field line. It's going to be extra bases. Swift scores. Girardi to second with a stand-up double. He's 3 for 3. 4-1 Colorado.
And this is just what Girardi needed, simply because he had fallen into disfavor with the fans around here because of some of his comments about replacement players and the organization. So he needed to get off to a good start. So he tries to get this fastball in. He gets it over the inside part of the plate, not far enough in, and Girardi rips it down the left field line. And Billy Swift comes in to score, gives the Rockies an insurance run.
Well, that's 6 hits total now for the Rockies, and all 6 of the hits they've been put together by the first 3 hitters in the order. Girardi's got 3 of them himself. Larry Walker coming up now. He's got 2 of them. And here goes Pavlik to the mound to speak. Doubled each time, driving in a run. Ball 1, and again, Jones looking like a guy who's showing fatigue. Very high with that one. 4-1 for the Rockies. Walker had that double, a bloop over the head of the third baseman in the first, and he ripped a long double to deep left center his last time. Vizcaíno and Walker retired for the first time, and Girardi went back to second base. 2 down. We've been talking about the Mets and the improvement that would seem to be in order for them this year. One of the reasons is they figure to have some fairly strong starting pitching. Bobby Jones won 12 last year. Of course, Brett Saberhagen, the experienced guy, a 2-time Cy Young winner. They've added Pete Harnish from Houston, and also, of course, the rookie from last year, Jason Hakame, who is somewhat similar to Bobby Jones. Galarraga. That'll go back out of play. To the spectators over there. And there are many of them here tonight on a cold night. Of course, when the Rockies played their first game here 2 years ago, 80,000 crowded into Mile High Stadium. The attendance that first year at Mile High Stadium was so incredible. Foul tip by Galarraga, 0-2. I mean, it was just so incredible, so unlike anything that had ever been seen in the history of baseball, that they decided to enlarge this field. This was supposed to be about 43,000 seats when they originally planned it. But they averaged nearly 60,000 a game their first year at Mile High. That's a base hit for Galarraga. Rounding third and heading home is Girardi, and he'll score without a throw. Galarraga with his first RBI of the year. 5-1 Rockies.
That pitch is also an indication that Jones is losing it a little bit. He had 2 strikes on Galarraga. He was trying to get the fastball in, but he didn't have enough on it to get the ball in on his fist. Watch this pitch. See the pitch? He didn't have quite enough on it to jam him, and that's what he was trying to do.
Well, down the screen. Can't be too pleased with what's going on out here. He's got the right-hander up in the bullpen. DePoto looks like he's ready if needed.
Dallas is a take charge guy. I mean, he came out yelling.
5-1 for the Rockies. Bobby Jones is finished with Dante Bichette coming up, and DePoto will come in to face him. We'll be back.
Philadelphia St.
Very cold, but the fans are very happy. The hometown team is well ahead, 5-1 in the 5th inning. They've knocked the Mets pitcher out of the box. Bobby Jones replaced now by Jerry DePoto, 5 runs, 7 hits allowed by Jones in 4 2/3 innings. Not what he had in mind for his first opening day assignment.
John, I do believe that the shortened spring training is going to be a lot tougher on starting pitchers than on any other players in the game, because it's very difficult to get your work in and also to make good pitches during the contest. You're out there to win, but you also have to get your work in. And no matter what we say, they have not had enough time to get enough work in to be able to go 9 innings or to be able to go 7 or 8 strong innings anymore. You may have some exceptions, of course, but on the average, the starting pitchers are going to suffer the most.
There's a runner at first, Andres Galarraga. With 2 down, Rico Brogna trying to stay loose over there. The first baseman with him as Dante Bichette stands in. A sacrifice fly in the first, and he grounded to short his last time. 5-1, the Rockies ahead.
Came right into the booth there, Joe.
Nice catch by Peter Pasquarelli. You can see me, I bailed.
What's that ball, Joe?
I got out of the way. It's an official Leonard Coleman baseball. Leonard Coleman Jr.
Show it to the fans out there now. Yeah.
Well, I'm smart enough to get out of the way, John. These things hurt.
You know, I thought you had lost that quickness, but obviously you still have outstanding range. Five to 1, the Rockies out in front. They brought us one of the delicacies here a little while ago. We sampled it. Part of the cuisine here in the concession stands at New Coors Field. They brought us the Rocky Mountain oysters with the cocktail sauce. I just love seafood. Out in the right field area, they have a beautiful private restaurant called the, what is it, the Mountain Ranch Restaurant or something like that. That's from the inside. It's got a beautiful view of the proceedings. Bichette with the runner going deep into left center field. Not deep enough. Segui. And that's the inning. Another couple of runs for the Rockies. They lead 5-1 as we head to the 6th. Brogna and then Bonilla.